Welcome to a new CADSIM Plus tutorial. My name is Renaud Daenzer, and today this is part 6 of the computer-based manual mini tutorial series. In this session, I will bring all elements together that we've covered in the 5 previous sessions to create a computer-based manual. Not from scratch though, we're going to be using the sort of bare bones that we have been seeing in the last few sessions. So it's a sample simulation that I've reduced to something more simple, more digestible, which is being loaded right here. So we see we had, for example, just a mixed tank here. I have some thicker stock containing fibers going into it, and it is being diluted with some dilution pump, and which is feeding it some water that comes from nowhere at the present time. And then this lower density mixture of pulp is going to be sent over to the washer area. So just a quick review, if you click something around in CADSIM using the Alt key, it brings you to the respective page. Uh, it'll give you zooms into name views after creating groups, etc. So we'll build on these things that we learned and draw something new here. So let's get started with that and go into draw mode and begin drawing stuff. So as I said here, we have room for something to add, and I was thinking we could just put in a tank that'll contain some filtrate and fresh water going into the mixed tank. So let's take the polygon drawing tool and create here a tank of a certain size here that's looks satisfactory, and we'll call it the filtrate chest. Okay, and we're gonna need uh, something going into it, so like a makeup of water and something going into it from above, and that's going to be, say, once something was processed through a decker or a washer, the filtrate comes down back to the filtrate chest. And all right, well, there's the first interesting thing that we can deal with is that when we press run, CADSIM will probably think this is not a tank because it's missing the overflow. And I'll show you this by just clicking run yes, and it's asking for the duty. So it didn't identify this module as a tank. And actually a new feature of version 3.4 is that you can go under tools, change unit type, and it'll say, okay, you meet all the criteria to be a default module, but that's not what we want. We want a tank, and it says here what you're missing, what's not being recognized, and it's missing the overflow stream or stream named overflow, and there's an output missing. So we could deal with that by, well, simply creating one. Why don't we just go ahead and click these bits here by control click. So I have these two, and I will use the copy part, and this is my point of origin. And instead of pasting it somewhere, I'm just going to go finish here, and I'll show you a quick trick. I can press and hold where I want to drop it, go into the parts library, insert parts area, and in my working directory, I'll select the copy image because it stores it as a drawing, insert it, and there it is. And now what I'll do is instead of moving stuff around, I could just flip it or mirror it. So it achieves what I was trying to do. Perfect. And well, might as well steal a few more things. Like why don't we put in some like level animation. So let's go over here and click these bits there. That's a line pattern with these animations. So this time I'm just going to say copy. I'm going to try and target the place where it touches the polygon, which is here, and drop it, say, kind of closest to the side of the tank. How about right here? That looks good to me. And I'll press finish. And okay, I think I'm looking off to the side here, and I think my size here of my tank is maybe a bit bigger than I want it. So let's just shrink it a bit by highlighting the parts that I want to shrink it to. That's good. And I'd like to align this with the bottom of my tank. So I can do a half snap by using the Alt tab, but I forgot to highlight this guy. So Control click both of these, click Alt, click and drag down for a bit. Now it's aligned, as well as the fact that probably the animation needs to be edited. Oh, first of all, I didn't capture my tank, so I slide it here a bit more. Edit. Oh, it doesn't. Well, there it is. It captured it. It was just off to the side. And let's just make this a 1, 0, 0, and the maximum, I am unsure. What should I pick here? Probably just 100 units. We'll see how that works out when we get a level in the tuning and see if it's reasonably giving us what we want. Nonetheless, a couple of specs here that probably will have to change. Let's just drag them down, so I don't want the simulation to think they're part of the polygon. Let's see now. Um, well, now we added the overflow, and we can go and check back under tools, uh, change unit type right here. So we satisfy all the requirements for it to be a tank. And so now when we enter simulation mode, it's going to ask us to specify stuff. So I'll say yes. Okay, so it's asking me for a tank volume. What's the max volume? And I did a bit of research ahead of time, and I think it should be around 800 uh, cubic meters of volume. And the initial volume, I want to aim for something like 60%, so that would be 480. The heat loss, we'll call it 0, because the heat loss is probably equivalent to the heat generated by the pump, so we'll just leave it at that. And then for the flow, I'm going to use a controller, just like there was here. And I want to control the output of the tank to control the consistency over here. So consistency, and we have it set to 3%. Naturally, I have an, then I have to spec the stuff above here. Let's look at an older spec for a type of filtrate water off to the side. You don't see it. And let's say, I want this to be on a snap. It's not working. Oh, there, control key, click it on a snap. 320 kilograms per second is reasonable amount. For fiber at a filtrate, we're looking at something around, with decimal points here, 0, 1, 12. Inorganic dissolved solids, we're looking at 0.72. And organics is 0.93. 0.93 finish. And that kind of replicates the spec that I'm going to delete below. Temperature, 70 degrees. Roughly the same stuff. And I thought I did water. What am I asking? Oh, now it's asking. So this line is done. Now it's asking me to specify the water coming off to the side. And same thing with the water. I just want to use a shortcut controller to keep my level. Here we go, shortcut control, which controlled until my level reaches, what do we say, 60%. So that's satisfied. Now for fiber, that's easy, that's fresh water. So let's just say 0. For inorganics, let's just say we have very clean water. Let's just do it zeros and zeros. And temperature is gonna be, let's say room temperature water. So now you see I have too many specs here because I added this new one, so it's gonna delete the over specifications, which is the original one. So I'll delete it, and that one as well, which we just replicated up here. Delete. Let's show. Oh, there's multiple specs overlaid on that multi-spec, so I clicked them all. Save. All right, we've got a simulation. Let's play. Let's hit run. Load a start file and see how it's liking this. Okay, I guess it fairly quickly um, got to a steady state. I mean, we were running here at a really incredibly fast speed, so it was surely going to uh, get there. I think let's tune some parameters. We might as well do that. Let's tune the level controller here. Go into settings and do an auto tune. Hit run. That's great. We fit a model right into this, so that looks very good. Let's go next. Oh, there's a model. Pardon me. It overlays the actual present value as a response to those current outputs, which was in red. Let's run. It's going quite fast. And we don't have to wait for it all. Let's just click stop and say accept. I expect that when the current output goes up or something, then the present value will be going down. Anyways, let's click finish, accept these parameters. Okay, and run some more. We can probably also tune this guy here. There's our model. Click next. Let's hit run. A very fast response. It looks a bit jaggedy, but the lambda tuning is already quite high, so I'll keep it that way. I think it's good. And click OK. Then if we're paused, let's let it run for a bit so it's all nice. Press pause. And in pause, you can go over to save a start file, so all these tuning parameters stay the way they are when you next load the file. And let's return to the drawing. Keep those controller settings, yes. And let's clean this up a bit. Let's make it nicer. Let's go right click here, split this line around here, grab it. Oops, let's see, let's grab this corner and just place it here. Move this one a bit. So, I pressed Alt instead of Control, so it looks better. And maybe move it up a wee bit here so it looks square. All right, we might end up spending too much time. Oh, that's not even adjust. There you go. Let's add some text here to identify what we've got here. This is the make up water. Okay. And uh, let's do this thing that we did here and add a connect out. So I can go into the parts library and then in my non-process PIDs, I believe it is under piping, I should find different kinds. All right, that one looks thin. That looks better. Maybe, let's take the thin one. It's probably that one. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. But that was a from, so that's correct. That's what we wanted. Let's drop it here, and you'll see it'll clip the process line here and put that in here in the gray. The process line here is gray, so it's invisible in run mode, or should be, at least if your layers are correctly set up. And let's give this a name. Let's call it from washer and an angle of 90 degrees. We can actually say what is coming from washer. It's filtrate. All right, but that's just nitpicking. Let's add, just like we have here, a sausage around here. We can go into the parts library and select non-process and see if we can go into PNC piping. There's a sausage. Let's add it. Let's raise it up a wee bit. Probably aligned here. Okay. and let's give it a name. Might as well put in something in here realistic, kind of copying from past stuff. Let's just put some random numbers. 7, that looks good. And drop it down a wee bit or center it. So that looks fairly good. All right. So let's also add some, let's copy this stuff from this tank and put it here. Oh, I think I took more than I wanted. Shoo, it took the whole tank, but that's okay. We can just delete what we don't want. Oh, I see what happened. So let's do cancel. Let's do an undo. That's a nice feature of CADSIM. You can just do undo. And I wanted to steal some of this stuff, so I'll steal it again, but differently. I'll copy it here and paste it off to the side. And let's say this is part of that polygon. So if I right click, I can convert an object to an independent text. So it's no longer part of the surrounding stuff, just like the mixed tank here. Let's do the same thing. Let's go. Well, we don't need a title for the mixed tank because we have the filtrate chest. So let's, I didn't want to delete the, I do want to delete the polygon. Okay. All right. These are the two things that I want to keep. So I'll drag them over here. Filtrate chest, you can come over here. And we got to give this guy a new number. Let's go with 512. So now I think I'm ready to create a group out of this new drawing that will interact with the computer-based manual. So um, just like we did here, we can see our groups under edit, select group. The group for the mixed tank is over here. So I want to create one for my filtrate chest. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag across uh, the elements that I want to belong to my filtrate chest. Deselect this. That can stay. These guys can stay. All right, that looks pretty good to me. So I've selected stuff. I go right click, add groups, double click to add a group, and we'll call it 425-6-0512. And the command will be, for now, CADSIM do nothing. So it just blinks when we click it. And the description is, we can say filtrate chest. That's nice. We've added it. We click OK. Let's create another group with, say, this valve here. So I highlight bits that I want to be part of this group and go to add group, double click, and call it capital X 208. CADSIM do nothing is the command, and the description. Let's just copy the same name. And there it is. Okay. And okay, so we've done a fair bit now. I think what I can say ahead of time is I'm going to create an HTML page for the filtrate chest, and oh well, let's cross that river when we get to it. So going now into the HTML page or the HTML editor, text editor, you'll note that previously in my introduction, let's do a preview, Control Shift H. This is what the page looks like in a preview. We had a placeholder called something new, and there was nothing here. So what I did for that is I just took something like the diffuser wash pump. It's an old HTML page, and I just stripped it of the things that I didn't need and copied it and created something called the filtrate chest. So that's what I'm going to work with, the filtrate chest HTML HTM page. And So I've pre-prepared some code to go in here, and I think I need to drop it over here. Let's go into my Word document, because right now this is a blank page. Why don't I do a Control Shift H and show you there's nothing. There's actually not even a spot along here. I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to copy paste some text that prepared ahead of time, because otherwise it would be very time consuming to do that. Let's drop it in here, and there you see it come up. I have Filtrate chest, I have the number here I picked. I also have that valve that I prepared, and we want to make sure that those links work. So in the Filtrate chest, I've got here a blinkGroup. Now this is nonsense. This needs to be changed to the actual name of the group that we created, which was 426.6.05.12, and we want it to be centered when we click on it. And it's a command that we're sending to CADSIM. That's good. So I think this one also needs to be changed. That's 426.6.05.12, and the description is correct. And over here we had another group that we created, and the name is correct, so it should in fact work if we tested it out. Everything otherwise seems fairly good on this end, so let's Control Save and run our simulation. Where is it now? Here it is. Let's hit run and save. That's fine. We made some changes. It loads our page, and well, of course, the first thing is we don't see it because it's not part of the table of contents of either the introduction, mixed tank, simple mixed tank page, or this page. All right, so first bit of troubleshooting, let's go right back to the editor and find those respective pages. So in the Filtrate chest, I guess first thing we have to create it. So let's go to the table of contents. So it's over here. All right, so I found a line here to add the one I want, which is itself. So that is the Filtrate chest HTML page, and the description, the name of it is Filtrate chest. So it shows up here. That's good. And I'm simply going to copy it and paste it to my introduction page in the same area. Well, actually, I'm going to replace something new with it. In the simple mixed tank page as well, over here. And the mixed tank dilution pump over here. And I think that's it. There's 4 changes here in all these files, so I'm going to do a save all. So this should remediate that issue, and we should be able to test our hyperlinks there. Now we see our Filtrate chest page. That's what we wanted, and upon clicking it, it should have oh no, that's something we can I think do, is to make it focus on this page. So there we go. Let's click here, and this should blink the group, the Filtrate chest group, which it did not. Maybe it's something to do with spelling. Let's go look. Let's go manage groups. Actually, no, let's go see what our group looks like. I'm gonna go to select group, and it was this guy, 425. Okay, there's a group. 425 is what I named it, actually. 425, 6. Let's see that again. Select group 425. Oh, I added the 6. Well, let's keep that in mind. 425, 6. And let's go to our code under the Filtrate chest. And we want to scroll up. Oh, this is 425. Ha! There you go. That'll probably do it. I was tricked. Control save. All right, let's do this again. Let's hit run. Filtrate chest, and now it blinks. So you have to be mindful of the spelling. I think I even added a 6 in between here, but the group's name is, I guess it's hidden from what we see. That's a small change we can do. This blink works here. Now we would want it to maybe, does it center around my, yeah, it does center when I click it, if it's off the screen. Uh, let's make another improvement so that when we open the page, there it is. So that open file, we get to the Filtrate chest. So it looks like I had previously commented it out. So let's make it available so that when it loads the page, it'll zoom in on the named view Filtrate chest. Actually, we didn't even create a named view yet. So that's what we'll do next. We can actually apply this change here. So it's going to look for the named view Filtrate chest. And going into my simulation here. Whoops, wrong one. So let's go out of simulation and let's split my screen so it looks like it does when it's in simulation mode. Oh, it's not cooperating. Huh. Typically this works. There you go. Let's do it manually. And let's zoom in on my Filtrate chest. Maybe that's a little much. So that's good. I like this view. Go to view, go to name view manager, and call this Filtrate Filtrate chest, and add view. It pops up down there. Click finish. Since we're here, we can edit our, click somewhere and manage groups. Select our group that we kind of named funny here. Let's edit it. Why not? Let's be consistent throughout. That's what it was meant to be. And instead of the command CADSIM do nothing, we're going to say HTML. So we're going to tell the HTML to, what was it now? I think it's, I basically want it to open the correct page when we launch. So I forgot what the call was. Let's accept this for now and just see what the other one did here. Edit, open file, there you go. It's the second argument that is the page. So copy, cancel. That's the best way to do it. It's to reverse engineer everything. Here we go, edit, and I'm gonna paste it. And I don't want the simple mixed tank to open, however. I want the page called Filtrate chest HTML to open. Finish. So that's good. Now because I edited the name, I should remove that 6 here. Click File, Save All. So we have a couple of changes to look out for is us zooming into this page and doing the reverse with these HTML commands. So when I click this, it should zoom into the Filtrate chest, and it did. And say I navigate to a different page and then I press Alt and click my Filtrate chest, it opens the proper HTML page. Fantastic. I think this is great. We've already incorporated two commands, something to do with named views and how to interact with the groups. All right, so that's good. We've also tuned the chest and shown how to do it. It's running incredibly fast when we're in run mode. Let's see this again. It was running at a torrid speed because CADSIM is fairly fast, or the fastest simulator in the world, as we like to say. So we can go into simulation. Um, Actually, it has to be done in run mode. So let's go back in run mode. And under tools in time step, we can throttle CADSIM. Let's make it go something like 2000 iterations per second so that we can see how fast it goes here. 2000. Perfect. So that's nice. Let's go in. Let's do some more work on our manual. Uh, Here's what we'd like to. Here's the next thing I'd like to do is to create a way of adding a page to do the same as we see here. We have a mixed tank photograph, so that was that guy, and if we click it, it gives us a bigger picture of that same tank. So let's move on and try and do this. I have here the menu for the mixed tank image, and what I should do is simply copy this. Right click and duplicate. And I'm going to call it image, and it's going to be an image of my Filtrate chest. Let's go, and it's going to be SM for small. Enter. So I can straight away do a little Control Shift H to see a preview of that. Let's change titles. Let's go with I'm gonna comment this one out, this line here, just so that the pop-up doesn't prevent me from making edits. So the first thing that we see is the description, mixed tank photograph from above. That's wrong. So that's here. And we'll call it the Filtrate chest image. Why not? And then we're gonna say a description. So let's remove this, and we're gonna say instead um, the view, because I know what the picture is like, the view from the filtrate filtrate chest from inside, showing the tiles. So that's good. Let's go and show you where that image is stored. So I have a file, a subfile inside of my working folder, and I have these images. One of them is the regular one, and one of them is the small one. So the small one is the one I want to put here, and so that's the name of the image. So instead of loading the tank small, I'm going to paste that guy in there. Boom, that looks great. And um, what I see missing here is the content for the Filtrate chest itself. So that would be in, there should be just one entry right now. which is that guy here. So let's copy it, paste it, and we call it what itself is, which is image filtrate chest small HTML, and the description is filtrate chest. And let's copy this. Oh, I don't like the format. Let's double click, copy, go to the actual main menu and add that one here too. So if I navigate here, it should also contain the changes. Let's do a save. There it is. Mix tank has the mix tank, but it should include that guy. I think let's close this and do Control Shift H. H. There you go. That's my preview. Okay, so it worked. The filtrate tank works. And now, similarly to the image of the tank, we should have a close-up one, which is tank is simply this one. So I'm going to duplicate that guy. I'm going to call it filtrate chest LG for large. My naming convention maybe isn't the best. And the large picture is just simply called filtrate chest. You know what? Just to be consistent, let's also call it LG for large. And here's a preview it. I didn't mean to double click it. I just wanted to, there you go, copy this stuff. And find it, filtrate chest large. We just want to change this here, paste, and we call it the view from inside the filtrate chest. I mean, we can be fancy and we can put a hyperlink here too. Why don't we do that? When we're in the filtrate chest, we can see that, yeah, this is our filtrate chest. Control copy. Why don't we do that inside the title? I think it should work. Control save. Let's remove this guy. Um, did I know on one of them I commented out the body on load. Good to remember that stuff. Control save. And I think I'm satisfied with this. Control save. Oops, control save. Everything's saved. Why don't we just test it? And if it fails, it fails. If it's, and we try to troubleshoot it. So let's go run my simulation, get my computer-based manual opened up, go over to the images. I have two. They switch back and forth. Wonderful. Can make it bigger. Great. And I thought I had added the hyperlink, but maybe I didn't save it. Or maybe I just placed it somewhere else. No, I don't know. All right, now you also notice the last thing probably that I'd like to discuss is um, how to change some of the headings or the colors of the headings. And to do that, we can go into the file here for the styles, and you see all the different heading styles. Say for my pictures, here I wanted to change the color of the banner under images for all of them, for this guy and this guy. I would go inside the code here to find out in the in here what heading, what are they using here for the heading? They're using masthead 3. So I would go into the file and search for masthead 3 style and edit this background color. All right, and I'm just gonna pick a typical CADSIM Plus color. There is something called the CADSIM blue gray. Let's try that. Copy. I'm gonna paste that. That's CADSIM blue gray color. Control save. And when we reload, let's see how this changes. Over the images. Oh, there's a blue gray now. And you can do this for any number of things, all of them to be found in that template that you might be using. And for me, it's the default one that came with CADSIM. You can also change the size of the font if you wanted, or the style, etc. So I believe that just about wraps it up for us today. I showed how to, draw some new elements in a computer-based manual, how to create groups and name view, how they interact with the page on the side by either clicking stuff uh, on the HTML side to make things blink, or conversely by navigating away from stuff on the HTML side and then being interested about something on CADSIM. So you press Alt and click the page and it'll bring you to the respective HTML viewer. We did a bit of tuning and we also showed how to insert images in the computer-based manual and how to make a bigger one, etc. So thanks very much for your attention during this tutorial series. Please leave a comment to let me know what you'd like to see next. And if you haven't already, please subscribe or give us a like. Help us spread the word about CADSIM Plus version 3.4 that is currently out. Thanks again for your attention and see you soon.